gonna be used somewhere else or into this, I recommend put it off a month.
Yeah.
And justify it. Or do it public safety, or.
I think the last time we talked about another grant, same type thing. We learned that all these grants are about the expansion of the system and hiring more lawyers and having more public defense, which would only raise our costs. And so even Mike pulled the plug on that one himself. He goes, no, we don't need to get bigger. It's a problem. And that's, so I don't know the answer. I don't know the answer on this one because I don't know exactly what it's doing. I just know that since we started it, prices have just increased more and more. So I gotta believe it's helping them get through you're actually opening the valve and letting them get there faster. And so the costs come faster. Slowing it down may actually save you money. But like Dan says, I don't know that you keep from paying less in the long run, but you might pay less per year for a while.
Might pay a lot more.
And you may, listen, we don't know.
I just wanted to suggest maybe we hold off on filling that position until we talk to Tom.
And
We are trying to set up a meeting, yes, and I suggested next week, so hopefully we can get that on the calendar.
I'll make that motion.
Wait,
Yeah,
we
we already got a motion.
Now your motion second on the floor. So
And we're on discussion of that one.
Dave, I'd like to modify my motion. Say we delay this until the next one. We have a second to that?
I'll second.
Seconded by Daryl. Is there any discussion? Dan?
Now, we're back to my original question. So Bob thinks we have a hiring freeze. I want a clarification. Do we have a hiring freeze?
No,
Or, no, I didn't think so. Are we going to proceed with a hiring freeze? Or do we have another solution to reduce the tax burden to the taxpayers? My question has not been answered.
So right now, we're going to get back on subject of what we were talking about.
Yes.
And we'll come back to that, okay? As you reminded me at one meeting here just recently, so, Dave?
I was gonna say in the hiring freeze, we talked about it before, and we just said, no, we'll just bring them all the requests back to the personnel committee. Review them one by one. And defer those that we don't need or reject them, but, you know, that was the.
But that was not a freeze.
it's not a
That
hiring.
was a sense.
Is that correct? That was, can you remember when you, through your records, do we ever say we've been voted to have a freeze?
No.
No, okay.
No, we didn't.
So that answers your question, Dan.
Well, that gets me back to clarification of this motion. If we don't have a hiring freeze, and no matter what you do, if you bring a vacancy to here, then does this committee automatically approve it or not approve it, and it doesn't go to the full board?
Yes.
Yes.
Right, so in other words, 5 men in a room can keep hiring people, is that what you're saying? I shouldn't say that's an expression, but the point is it done if it's done within committee and without a hiring freeze, then the rest of us have no say in the matter. If we want to see a hiring freeze.
Mr. Shaw, that's not entirely true, because then here, it's one person, one vote. In the board, it's a weighted vote, so just because there may be a majority in this committee may not mean there's a majority at the board meeting.
Thank you for the clarification.
Jay?
Dan, I'd like to think right now in our current times that when we're having a position to fill, the director better be in, the director better say it's either gonna save us a lot of money or I absolutely cannot function without this position, or I'm voting no. That's where I'm at.
And I think go ahead, Melissa.
I just wanted to add that the requests that were on this agenda from the sheriff, that was an extensive conversation with him where he had to talk to many in his department to see if it was possible for them to do without that civil clerk. So he did review that and found that the deputies in that department can fill in. It is hurtful to the department. That department is very busy, that civil section. But he said he could do without it, but it is a painful thing for him not to fill. And the same thing with social services. Okay, the new commissioner reviewed those 3 positions and said, you know, that they can do without those. So there is a lot of review of duties that's happening right now within the departments. They're not just bringing requests through to, just have them filled willy-nilly. They are reviewing them. So what you're seeing, if they do need to fill it, Danielle and I are having a discussion prior to. There's a lot of review going on at this point. And nothing will be filled without your approval.
Okay, so. We amended a motion. Dave, you made the motion, we had a second.
Daryl,
Daryl,
Yes.
do we have any further discussion? All in favor, aye?
aye,
Opposed? Carried.
on the original motion,
Yes.
you vote on
Amen.
the amendment, now you gotta vote on the,
Well, you amended your,
Okay.
you changed your motion, so you're good.
So we're good to go. Okay. Now move on to the next issue.
So we did have a request from public safety for a carryover of vacation time. This comes to committee due to the handbook. If there's a request for over 40 hours, it does have to come to personnel for approval. It is under severe circumstances that it makes its way here. So it was 120-hour carryover requested, and I'm just asking for that approval.
We have a motion for carryover.
I'll make the motion.
Daryl. We have a second.
second.
Dave, Jim? Is there any discussion on carryover?
Yeah, I think we've got to be careful with this too, because sometimes you don't realize that you'll end up banking more than you can actually use, and then the individual's losing it. I understand it's a critical position, the weight of this and impact this person has on the county is immense. But sometimes we gotta tell them to take a break. Go fishing for a couple days, do something, and then let's pick up the load. So just from a standpoint of not burning somebody out, sometimes we gotta tell them to take a vacation. So I just encourage us to look at that and talk to the department heads and take that into consideration.
This carryover is also has to be used within 3 months according to the handbook, so that kind of helps that. Or it would be removed.
Thank you.
Is there any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Other business,
Yes.
then I guess we go into the finance personnel. committee.
I'll go finance to order.
And Larry's not here yet, so. This will go to next. Review staff request for 2026.
So in your packets are the staffing requests. So these are actually staffing requests that we recommend. There were, oh, it's the sheet.
Thank you.
It's your email to him. I don't have, are there any more?
Anybody missing one? Got one, Dave?
Can I share?
I
Sorry.
just.
You want me to say that last
sheet? I just remember what it said in that whole wrapper.
Hey, Is that thin paper? I can't.
Do you have one there?
All right. Everybody have them now?
So with this year, department heads actually came to me to request what they needed for staffing for 2026. We actually reviewed all of them, spoke to department heads, asked them their needs, and we actually adjusted it according to what we recommended we, I say myself and Melissa, can I throw you in on that as well?
Was hoping you would.
Okay, so this is the list that we actually had, recommended, so we can go through this. First, the aging services aide full-time from a grade 4 to a grade 7. This was, she's a full-time position and we felt that her grade needed to be adjusted. She is the only one in this position. It would be, a $6,405 increase for her if that was approved.
I believe that's one of the lowest grades on our.
It is. On
salary
our
schedule.
salary schedule, yes. And also with the aging services aide part-time position, the same thing. There are Meals on Wheels drivers. We wanted to actually adjust this grade to be level with our current motor vehicle operator in the veterans office. Which would be a grade 4 to a grade 6, which would impact the net cost of $16,499. I'm not sure if you'd like me to go through all of these first and then talk about it, or go through each one.
What's your preference, Cody?
Can you run through the
Run
list
through
and
that?
then we'll come back to it? Allow us to marinate on it a little bit, so.
So we have buildings and grounds, we have a building maintenance supervisor that's retiring around June 2026. Which is a savings. They are looking at a supervising cleaner at night to promote to a building maintenance supervisor from a grade 12 to a grade 15. Any questions about that?
So it essentially is eliminating a position and moving up a grade, another position.
Yes.
A savings of about almost $29,000.
Yes.
Our clerk of the board has an account clerk full-time that's looking to move up to a senior level. This is to the duties and responsibilities of that person. So that we do recommend. For county administration, we'd like to move the purchasing coordinator actually to the exempt salary schedule, making it an exempt position. No cost there. County clerk, we currently have a DMV part-time that will sunset December of 2025. Lisa's asking to keep this position. This person is actually a seasoned employee that retired that is actually helping the new staff. So she was requesting to keep that position and make it permanent. For DPW, we have a new title of a highway supervisor 3 at a grade 20. This would be to replace the public works manager position upon retirement. So that actually is a cost savings. For personnel, I have a personnel assistant that has gone to Civil Service Institute and now has more responsibility in the office. So I'd like to move her up from a grade 8 to a grade 10. For public safety, we have, Melissa, I don't know if you want to talk about this one.
The Director of Public Safety and the Deputy Director of Public Safety share on-call responsibilities in the office. So they have 1 week on, 1 week off. That was brought to my attention probably about 1.5 years ago. I hadn't addressed it back then, but it truly is an on-call situation where a week at a time, one of them cannot be out of the area on vacation because of course they respond to all emergency services. So that being said, I feel that they should be compensated for that on-call, even though they are salary employees. It literally affects them in their private life. They're not able to leave town, like I said. So I would like to carry forward the request to give them both an on-call, excuse me, amount. And that's a total of $13,943 a year.
How does that figure in with 120 hours that one of them's gonna take off?
I didn't hear you, I'm
In
sorry.
the next 3 months, you got one of them taking 120 hours off.
That would be- The other one, we're gonna have to.
The other one's gonna
Yep.
get it all.
Yep.
Very interesting situations we put ourselves.
The next item is, 2 full-time communication officers that they were requesting to add to their department. And the next would be their administrative secretary to a public safety specialist from a grade 13 to a grade 15 to an increase of her duties as well. Last ones are in the veterans. They actually want to add 4 positions for vet drivers. This would be no cost. It's just to increase the flow of drivers. And then they do have a clerk part-time that they'd like to increase to full-time due to the amount of calls that I'm receiving and more people using their services.
I think Melissa wanted to go back.
Yeah.
Safety, was that right?
Right, yeah, I just wanted to go back to the public safety position. So this wouldn't go into effect until January of 2026. I know you just had a request from the deputy director to carry over vacation time, but that time will have had to have been used before this even goes into effect.
Melissa, that being said,
Sue?
I'm sorry, that being said, he's still gonna be responsible for on-call from now until almost.
Without any compensation, right?
But they
It'll fall
always
on the
have
director.
When you get done with the list, I'm gonna address this one separately.
Yeah.
Yeah, might have been explained, but I missed it. Is this in the budget? To be discussed, is this,
None of this is in as far as I know.
No,
none of this is in one way or the other in the budget?
No,
Okay, thank you. So we'd be adding that number at the bottom to the budget.
Yes, yes.
Sue?
and I have one more question on this sheet. It goes back up to aging. And we're talking about the Wheels on Wheels, which I think is, incredibly valuable. And yet, are we going to not get federal funding for that next year?
We believe we are. We've heard nothing that we aren't. Yeah, that's what Gina said to us too.
I just
Yes.
want to know also, from the original list, the net cost that we did have was a little over 600,000. So we did cut that to the 161. Just so you're aware that we did do some work to get that number down.
On the communication officers, is this 2 more than we've ever had? Is this an expansion of the whole
Yes.
unit?
Yes, it is. And they've been telling us for the last couple of years, that they've been needing more positions, but they've been putting it off as long as they could. And they're at the point now with this existing communication officers that they have are, I don't wanna say at a breaking point, but
Right.
they need some relief. So they feel strongly they need those 2 positions.
I mean, that's the biggest increase in.
Dana?
Yes.
Are we have the sheets done, we can have questions?
Yes, sir.
All right, so my question is, the county clerk one, that was Dana Allen for us, and you guys have, that's the one we added in March, just to deal with real IP increase.
She added it, for the increase of everything. Like, I guess all of
That's why it
the,
was temporary, that's why we sunsetted it at the end of this year.
she believes the next 2 years are going to be the same way.
Full of the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
Sunsetting for that reason.
Yes.
This is why I asked, I don't remember, I think I was the one that sunset it. I didn't want these positions to just keep carrying
Yeah,
over.
yep. You did.
I'll jump
Yes,
in.
I'm sorry.
Well, that was actually the same position that I had a question on, because the comment was also made that I was a retiree that came back and helped train. Well, how long do we need to train people? I agree with Dana that all the ones that you had on there, that I think this one should have sunsetted, because now we're making it what, a year and a half?
I'll make a
1.5
motion to
years
sunset,
helping
keep
to
it
train
sunset
people.
effective 12.
The motion, Dana. I said with Jay. Is there a question, conversation, Dave, or is that was a second? Second. Second, okay. Any other discussion? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed, carried.
Chairman. Can I address the on-call one separately too?
You, sir.
Okay, so the former county attorney used to tell me one of my favorite sayings in this building was, we're all friends until we're not. So I would like to encourage you to not only get that 13,000 into the 26 budget, but I would encourage you to start it immediately. These gentlemen and Larry can correct me if I'm stepping out of line, but if we're prohibiting their motion and movement, we should be paying on call now, not putting it off until January. We should be getting in front of this now before we have an illegal problem with these employees being disgruntled at some point and saying, hey, I was on call for 3 years at the county and I wasn't compensated. So I would encourage you to not only consider putting this one in the 26 budget, but starting it immediately.
This is a salary position, right?
But I was still on call. You have like Mike McCure carries an on-call phone. Do you have other exempt salary schedule? People carrying on-call phone.
Jay,
I just wanna ask, is Matt on call? Is Deb on call? I mean,
No.
right, that's it.
So
We're
even,
causing our own
We don't
demise.
prohibit their move.
that's the difference.
We are.
If these individuals are being prohibited from going somewhere, that's something we should be compensating, and Larry can correct me if I'm wrong.
Basically, if you're on-call restricted, you're supposed to pay for it. I'm not sure though, Cal, with regard to the exempt employees, how that interacts or what level that changes. I would have to look into that.
Right. But I would encourage us to consider that now, sooner than later.
Charles?
Is on-call part of the job expectation and description and defined?
Yes. Well, I don't know if it's
But
the time,
not,
but
not
it's
explicitly outlined to be compensated for it separate. I mean, if he's in
in our procedures, no, but in New York State labor law, I would argue that it is.
for union employees or for exempt employees?
Well, both.
For both. On-call pay is defined in New York State labor law, not in county policy. And I can work with our labor attorney and get
Yeah,
an answer by
I
Friday.
would look at that because I've got another line of work where I'm on call and I'm not compensated separately for that on call.
If we don't have the supervisor, I'm good with that, but my
Yeah.
fear is that my job is to make sure that I don't let you guys go into a place where you're in under reliability, right? So,
Yeah, the only thing I'm compensated for is in duty where I am on call. Yeah, you get comp day, technically comp days.
right. And some private industries may build that on-call money into the salary, right? It might be built into the compensation you're already getting, so.
Right.
Again, I can work with Larry on this and have an answer to you by Friday, so.
Jim, it seems we need to be careful about the definition of on-call. Is it on-call and somebody can call you at any time, but you can be wherever you want geographically?
So
Or is it on-call where you are required to be
In the building.
in a certain area?
and they have two very different rules.
Yeah, that's what I'm bringing it up.
Yes.
And I'll say, the majority of your salary employees will receive calls, even if we're not here during the workday. But the difference with these two positions is they actually have to respond, right? That's when they get in that bus and they show up in your towns for emergencies. and,
Right. Right.
So that's the difference.
Well, the question is, do we have to comp them dollars or can we do it with time?
They can't,
They
we
can't.
need them here. That's the difference also with that.
Right.
So is there? We're gonna do a one-on-one? Do one-on-one, yeah. So did we do the veterans yet?
Yes.
We did, right, okay. Had it marked off, I just want to double check. All right, so let's start with the AG one. We have a motion to approve the AG one, or do we need to move these two findings? Yeah. No, we're in joint.
We're in finance.
We're in a quick meeting, so.
Yep, I got it now. I saw it on the agenda, it showed it separately, Danish pointing out earlier tonight. That's up to that one.
I
ahead, Drew.
ask a question. So Dana, thank you for tackling that first one, but I'm looking at this holistically a little bit. I understand what the baseline is for this request, what's driving this, right? The explanation. Thank you for providing that. And I'm looking at the bottom line here for the value of what this does. But we still have to everyone's point here, we still have to get our 2026 budget down. So me, some of these make sense, right? We probably should be doing them. But we need an offset somewhere. So which position is not gonna, we can increase what we're talking about here, but we can't do it just to say that overall we're gonna increase the budget. It's not in the numbers right now. So what comes out? Anyone got an offset?
It'll be two people somewhere else.
Those two people.
Somewhere else is what that equals, Road.
Are we willing to do this?
That's the trade-off. Are we willing to cut two people to make this list?
Right. We have, but,
It's still taken away from someone we already did.
right. Are we, it's just a philosophical conversation. Are we better off having reasonably compensated employees, but fewer of them? We're still providing the services and the work that needs to be done. It's just not getting done as fast. All right, is that, because that's the trade-off we're talking about here.
Charles, might you even, in the philosophical discussion, extend that to even further fewer at more competitive growth?
Right,
So not just but pulling everything down, and you should, I'm looking at this a full spectrum.
right. And that's what the kind of thing I've been wondering as well, if you. Can we do more with less? We're not asking to do more with less. Can we do the same with less?
But it would be slower, but
Right.
less would also be more possibly fairly
Compensated and would impact retention. I'm willing to do this, but not adding it to. I want to see something's got to come out.
And we can, this wouldn't go into effect till the budget, for January anyway, so we can review it. and
We can
don't
still take it all
use this
back
right now.
out. I mean,
Correct.
that's all. I guess that's an opportunity.
Well, I got, in your points we're taking, what I'm looking at, thinking about the background number two is that department heads haven't come in yet with our other positions, so you can eliminate.
Right.
So if they scratch it down and they come up with two other positions, that they're gonna take away, three, but they still need the staffing of these. That's where the issue comes in.
And the vacancies are really the easy ones.
Yeah.
I mean, we all know that.
Jim,
At the same time, if department head is working real hard to find a place to cut, comes in with two positions they cut. I don't want to reward another department head who perhaps didn't work as hard and wants to add the two positions just because somebody else cut two out.
That's a real concern. Thank you.
Yeah, too simple.
Well, the only thought I had, if you automatically agree to, buildings and grounds and DPW, you're gonna take, almost 60,000, was it? Off the budget, because that becomes a negative number and you do nothing with the other one. But if you do what you wanna do here, that directly impacts increasing the budget. And now you could go forward and say, well, how do we want to mitigate that increase by either removing somebody else somewhere? But I'd say automatically, it's a no-brainer to me, the two positions that are being asked to be changed, that gives us positive impact on our tax levy. We do it.
Massey?
And now, who makes the motion? Is it on personnel or is it on both?
I'll make the motion that we keep, that we do what DPW and building grounds requests on this sheet.
I'll second that motion for discussion.
Discussion, John?
Discussion. Building and Grounds is looking for is this gonna be considered a deputy to the head of Building and Grounds?
No.
But he's still, is that off the table or is that
We
still on?
withdrew that request. The original request was for a deputy. And we took that off.
Okay.
Not building ground, DPWs. Matt's over there
They
going,
both.
Matt's over there going, huh?
No, they both.
Both of
Oh,
them.
you did?
Department
Oh,
had
okay.
asked for deputy
Okay,
originally.
originally.
So Cassie, you had your hand up.
Not for this vote, just for the next comment.
Next comment, okay.
That is vote.
So Jay, one more time, the two positions that you,
I move that we agree to what Buildings and Grounds is requesting and what DPW is requesting on his sheets.
On the sheet.
Yeah, on the sheet. And I seconded that.
seconded by Daryl. Is there any further discussion? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? What about the finance, Brad? Yeah, motion by finance? Wait, Dave, second by Cam. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Okay, so that does the aging. So what's the committee's feeling on the aging?
Can I go back to,
Cassie, this one?
I'm not on the committee, but if I understand this correct, moving the purchasing coordinator is, a change, it's not dollars.
Correct.
And increasing the pool of drivers for the veteran drivers, that's not an additional cost, that's just being more substitutes. Maybe somebody on that would approve those two things, and then they would be off the list. Those are both $0 effects. The list to get more manageable.
I'll make that motion.
Made by Jay.
Second.
Second by Daryl. Any discussion? All in favor of personnel? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Finance
I'll make that motion.
by Shirley, second by Dana. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. All right. We're just down to. We're still on aging. That one. Aging. You got Dan.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, just so everybody's aware that now with motions and actions, we've taken that bottom number that says total cost is 161, is now up to 212. So you know what you're dealing with for a number. Well,
Going
take the
down by
negatives out.
40,000.
We took the negatives out, so that automatically increases that number.
We passed through the negative.
Take them out.
But that goes off the budget.
Now, what Mr. Shaw is saying is what's remaining on the sheet
She's actually right.
now has a new cost.
He's actually right. It is
He's
$1,000.
correct.
He's correct.
This total is net of two reductions that have already passed. So what Mr. Shaw is saying is what's left is a new bigger number. He's correct.
Second.
So yes.
Say aging.
So just want people to know what the word.
Was it yes?
I had a question on the aging. Sue brought it up. Is this partially funding? Is this 100% taxpayer?
That I don't know. Al, do you have any idea?
Her budget does not include, she's 100% funded, so I can't guarantee that.
Right. But as far as I know, Meals on Wheels still gets.
And you'll check. Yes, Charles.
And Daryl mentioned the request for finding offsets of some sort. We're on the expense side, but can we request an increase in the contribution request for the meal? Is that already in the budget? We know what we get, but if we ask for a little more, we might get more.
I don't believe we charge. I believe it's a donation that they.
That's right, it's a suggested, we have a suggested donation somewhere.
And as we raise their taxes, that donation will go down. You have to understand
There
that.
actually are some people who are pretty happy about Meals on Wheels,
Yes.
can afford it. And do contribute a lot more because our average is low, but if you look at.
And after you raise their taxes, they won't have it to contribute. That's my problem here. That's what the whole discussion is based on.
I understand that.
Danielle has a.
One other thing that these drivers do, they are wellness checks for these people as well. So to have them go and them their food and I'll actually do wellness checks is, I think, a great service that the county provides. So just something to add.
It is, and they do respond, reach out if they.
So do we have a motion on the aging? Going once? And the personnel side, going twice? Okay, we have no motion anymore, second on it, so that was defeated, becomes a no. All right, so now it is, yep, clerk of the board. You have any comments, recommendations, suggestions, Charles?
As the process, we're walking through one at a time. Maybe we would just be better off at first to say, are we gonna entertain any of the negatives? Any of the, because I don't know. Because now we're trading off of the aging for maybe people on the call center.
That's the problem.
And now we're gonna look. What are we doing? Are we trading them off or are we doing them one at a time and then see what falls out?
I thought the intent was it would weigh each one on its own merit.
Okay,
I thought that's what we were doing. I mean, some of us may be sitting here saying, okay, we took this one off and put another one on. But I thought we were gonna do it on the merit of what position is and what they're looking for.
I just wanna make sure I understood.
Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Cassie?
Well, I just want to double check. I asked this last year and we had the big list last year and then we cut it down to the ones that you guys felt were working out of class and really needed to be moved. So my understanding, that's the same thing you did this year. You took the great big list, took it down and you feel these are the ones that are working out of
Exactly,
class.
yeah.
Should be, so what kind of trouble, just as a flip side, I'm not looking to hand out money, but as a flip side, how many of these should we be doing?
Pulling
Because
duties.
they're
That's
working
exactly
out of
what
class.
we did when we
Right.
came up with this list. I think Danielle mentioned the original list was about at a cost of 600,000. This list is 161 and that includes 2 full-time positions. So we scaled it down significantly. The board's request, that's based on duties. The person performs the duties of a senior account clerk. Really, should they be performing those duties if they're not compensated for it? No. So should we be taking some of that work away? Yes. I mean, we do have to pay the wages that go with the position. So, but yes, these are all recommended based on hours of discussion between the two of us.
And those are the clerk of the board, the personnel position, and public safety are the duties.
So the clerk of the board. We have a motion to move the clerk of the board. Position. Finance, once, or twice. Go 3 times, that's a no. Administrator, Chanel, Doctor, personnel. What did the county-
Mr. Chairman, I have a question. Motion.
Yes. Dan?
Yes. On these descriptions, and we'll just use the clerk of the board, and the one above it was building to ground, which was, there's a date after it. Is that when it would start? Is that why that date is there? And the cost that is projected, is that the cost of starting at that date? So the actual cost, if any of these are new positions and they're starting in somewhere in the middle of the year, the actual cost for that position following next year is gonna be a lot more.
Yes.
Okay, I just wanted everybody to be aware
Well,
of
it's even
that.
true on on all downgrades, it's true, because they come right back as soon as they get the experience to move up. That's true on every downgrade we do. That's the realization of it.
So now we're down to personnel. Personnel assistant to the personnel clerk. We have a motion to, and, personnel to move that forward. Going once. Going twice. Going 3 times. Okay, we see no desire to move that one forward. Great, brings us down to, veterans, I believe was the last.
Public safety.
Public safety, I'm sorry, that we've done now. Earlier.
First request is for the stipend for the on-call pay, $6,500 each. And that's every other week. Total amount of $13,943.
You have a motion to move that one. Finance? You want to finance? Jim?
I was just having, I wanted to step back and ask the legal question on this again. Would one of the two lawyers in here explain?
While I was just sitting here, I just tried to see if I could find a quick response, because there isn't a quick response, although I can tell you that there was a website that ADP, which is a payroll service, specifically said that exempt employees are not subject to on-call pay under any circumstance. I can't give you that as my opinion, only because I haven't done the legal research myself. But apparently there is some thought that exempt employees are not subject to, they've got to be truly meet the definition of exempt employee. There are a lot of times people think that just because you're salaried means that you're exempt, you're not. You have to meet the criteria of the position itself and also the salary requirement in New York State, which is higher than the federal standard. But I just saw a article that ADP put out about on-call pay, and they specifically said exempt employees would not get covered.
So I'll give you a 2-week reprieve on that, but I need to know in 2 weeks what the legal matter is on that, because that might even be a place where we take on call that's not paid for.
More than happy
Because
to
of,
do a legal opinion.
why are we paying on call if the
We don't have-
employees, if it's included?
We're currently paying on call to several employees, mostly attorneys. I
Mostly
believe,
hourly though.
Receive,
Wouldn't it?
no,
Well,
salary
there's quite a bit of salary.
employee,
Yeah.
that are usually attorneys that are
But I mean,
receiving
if
on
we know
call
the
pay.
legal aspect of that, maybe we shouldn't.
You have to be careful when you call them salary employees, that's not the defining just how.
That's not the-
Whether they are
they're
exempt
exempt
from
or
the
not.
executive or administrative or professional exemption. And you have to meet that criteria, which has, each one has their own criteria. Executive and administrative have a salary requirement, professional does not. And, gotta make sure you meet that criteria, because even though you're salaried, if you don't meet that criteria, then you are subject to
Probably-
on-call.
Probably 95% of them meet the professional standard there.
Well, then well, again, you'd have to make sure that they do meet it. Just because you call them a professional doesn't mean that they,
Well, they're attorneys.
right, so attorneys would.
Our biggest on-call cost is attorneys.
You would say attorneys are professional.
I would say.
That's a trick. Sorry.
He's not the only one in the room. I directed it at him though.
Mr. Chairman, with that information informing us, I would like to make a recommendation as part of the personnel committee to do a review of all on-call positions to ensure if they meet the criteria for not receiving or not required to receive on-call pay, that we evaluate each one of those positions and make a decision at a future meeting. And that we're consistent across the county.
Do we have a second for that motion? Jim, Sue, Charles, Dave? Chairman, you got your hand up, I was.
All right, that doesn't affect the motion here, but just wanted to point out that DEC, when I worked for it, was in exactly that same situation. And I've been trying desperately to get some of your members of the federal and state, the Supreme Court case that completely screwed New York State, because they were doing just that. They were, using the conservation officers as salaried people. You just were required to respond 24 hours a day, no matter what. You had a phone in your house, and all of a sudden they wound up with like 10 years of back pay. They were paying for anything that was overtime, and it's all overtime now. It was a huge hit, close to, at that point in time, close to $100 million.
And that's the check I don't want to write.
And that's a check we don't want to write. I wish in my aging brain, I can't come up with the federal case that was, it was like Miranda, but that was exactly Miranda versus Arizona. Anyway, be careful with on-call. If they're not paying on-call and you're expecting people to answer the phone and respond, there could be some damage.
Just to clarify the motion, it's to evaluate everyone that's receiving on-call pay currently see if they meet any of the criteria outlined in what's informing us on this on-call decision.
And then Larry's right, there's several levels, salary levels and all that stuff that you have to hit.
Steve?
So we should defer this one until we get the answer on number one, salary versus exempt.
Right.
And understand the impact. I don't think we just eliminate it, but
Correct.
we need to make sure we do the right thing legally so we don't get there. So.
Yeah, the motion was to evaluate each position that's currently receiving.
So, and a lot of these things change with, was that Rel Herring or APH? One of them, we started paying on-call to public defenders because they sent money. So then everybody else that was gonna be a lawyer in court wanted on-call pay too. So in fairness, it all got paid, but I don't think anything's gonna be fair this year. So I guess I'm not concerned how fair that is. If you got revenue to pay for it, maybe it stays in. And if you don't have revenue to pay for it, maybe it comes off. That might be part of the problem, but
I think you either have to do it for all that are supposed to receive it or not do it for any. I don't-
no, you only do it for ones that that have to receive it by legal matters. But if there's revenue for it from the state that says that we have to do it because it's mandated, that's one thing, which we have, I think, on the public defense side. I don't think we have it on the other side. And I don't know that we should be paying it if that's the case.
Right.
But it's better than putting people out of work.
So on the on-call, so we have on-call for salaried workers. And then we have on-call for hourly workers. And so when you have an on-call for an hourly worker, we're obligated
Okay.
to pay 2 hours of overtime, regardless if they go anywhere.
Depends on union contract.
That's according to
Is that correct?
contracts, things like that. I
Is that
believe.
correct?
Yeah.
So that being said, in your motion, we're just doing salaried workers or hourly, workers, or all on-call?
So you can't play with the hourly ones.
Yeah, I think we're talking about salaried employees.
Okay.
Whether they're exempt or
Whether
not.
exempt or not.
We have contracts that govern us on the other side.
Thank you.
Is there any further discussion on this?
And just to make one other point, folks, we're beyond baseline budgeting conversations here. We gotta come back to the table with zero budget and figure out, is this something we need?
Both points. Is there any other discussion on the motion that's on the floor? All in favor? Opposed? Carried, yeah.
What's basically tabled, right? So I
Yeah.
don't know that we need to do anything.
Okay. So the next is, yep, the second one right now, the add the FT communication officers, 2 positions. Trainee rate 60 days, base 201 days.
On the last comment I just made, I'm gonna make a motion because I think these are in fact needed for the health and safety of the residents of the county. And I'm gonna make a motion that we move this one forward.
Second, Dave. Is there any discussion? Charles?
Was this the reduced ask? Did they ask for 3 or 4? And then we came to 2?
They've been mentioning the need for 2, at least for the last year and a half, I know. But no, they did not ask for more than 2.
Do they have room for them?
It's not about room, it's about location and time off.
As long as we don't have to build a new building for them too, that would help.
Yeah.
My question is probably considered a strange one. But last year when we were rich and famous, you said this was requested, we turned it down now or for in disgrace. We're actually gonna consider it. I don't understand the difference between last year and this year. Good times we turned it down, bad times now we're gonna consider doing it. I mean, I'm just
Yeah.
painting the picture that I'm seeing, so.
And maybe I would
Why
assume,
did we turn it down last year? I need to know that.
like, that's the new positions.
We didn't bring the request forward last year.
But it's been requesting it, you said for
He's
years.
been telling us there's a need, but because we've had fiscal financial struggles, they've not brought it forward to us.
We didn't even, we got a flat budget last year.
Every year we're told to not ask for things we don't need. This is, so departments don't usually ask for things they don't need.
No, we probably shouldn't have asked for a flat budget.
Well, I think this
What was
is the
the
wrong
flat
year
budget?
to be asking anybody, yes, right?
It's in a flat budget.
So I think that if, look at overall, that the calls for service for the sheriff's department and
EMT.
with EMTs and with the on-call people, they've gone up potentially. They've been more stressful positions. And I don't see how we cannot service our people, because if we break those people down there by overburdening them with them, we're gonna have issues that are gonna ripple down through. This isn't one that we can say, well, wait another half hour or 2 hours or 3 hours to give me a call so we can help. This isn't one of those.
Just, Dan, I fully understand where you're coming from. I acknowledge that it's a valid comment. But back to my other comment about evaluating each and every request based on the need and the value it has to the county and its residents. I don't know if I could stand in front of anybody in this county who lost a loved one due to a failed response and justify that.
I can't say you can justify
Yeah.
it. But stand before any of these people on low income gonna lose their home, because we're talking 40%. We're adding, that's $140,000.
Yeah.
You're adding to the budget that's already the Brian, at least I heard him say it once, is 38% increase now. Well, we're over 38, we're headed back up to 40. I'm just saying, I'm being real, and yes, I'm being cold, but I'm being real. So you gotta balance one out over the other. What is it you need?
What if you split the difference? We're one.
You can't with those positions. They're different shifts. You need, it's a two rotation.
The other problem you have is you have they need two people because they have two vacancies. They just don't, someone just doesn't come into that job and start it. They have to go away for training. So if you have 2 resignations, now really you're gonna be down 4 people because you got the 2 there, you got 2 away for training that can't do the work because they aren't trained, they know how to do it.
Well, how did it work last year when he got talked out of requesting it and we kept up
There
on
was-
budget?
There was the same injury.
Right.
Okay, well,
And
as
look, we're
it
in
goes
here.
on, as people start getting burned out and start looking to go someplace where they can make more money, that increases the issue and the problem. You know, and Daryl's absolutely right. This is the backbone of our whole fire response, emergency response.
No, it's the taxpayers are our backbone here. They're the ones that keep us afloat.
Well, they can give us all the money they want, but if nobody provides the service, phones don't get answered, help doesn't get sent. That's the reality of it.
If I could, in addition, they go through training. Some don't make it, where they can't do the job or where they can't take the stress of the job. So we might have 2 positions they fill in January. It'd be down to 1 or none in March. We're just trying to make sure they have the resources to respond to our residents who need the assistance immediately, not 2 weeks or 3 weeks later.
Any further discussion? All in favor, aye? Opposed? Okay, finance motion. Motion by Dave, second by Sue, Charlie. James, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
You know,
Gary. All right, brings us down to the admin secretary, the public safety specialist grade from 13 to a 15 with a new title. Danielle, can you listen to what you guys like to send out?
Yes, so this position is unique in the fact that, public safety is not just the 911 communication officers, it's also the coroners that use that office as administrative support. It's the fire coordinators, it's everyone, including the safety officers. There's a lot of people involved there, and that position has, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's also involved in the discovery. It's the position has just grown. It's more than just secretary. That position is probably 2 or 3 was what it originally was when we first started the whole discovery thing, and it's gone down to this one person who has just taken on more and more. the last 3 years.
So do we have the, motion, we're done for discussion? Yes, going once. Going twice. Going 3 times. It says it. Very right, now it's down to the veterans. Yep. Add the veterans, the drivers per diem, 4 positions, grade 6.
That was.
That was already approved.
That was, yep, we got there. You're talking to increase the part-time, full-time, 35 hours. So that's taking a part-time one to make it a full-time based on the caseload that has developed over the last few years. Do you have any motion to move that forward?
I don't want to make a motion to move forward. I'd like to make a statement about it though, because I don't want to send the wrong message to the veterans folks, but the veteran community, if you're not aware, I'm connected to it. This veterans office is a success story. And that's why they're asking for these resources. They in fact service people from outside the county several times over, because not every veterans office is as good as ours. And it's been a huge positive impact. And I've been thanked many, many times over by veterans after they came back from visiting our team downstairs. So the lack of action should not necessarily reflect a lack of gratitude and support that office has, so. That's all I want to say.
The one thing I actually had a good discussion with Ken yesterday, and different things he's trying to do, and does anyone realize the magnitude of the money that comes into this county? It's not all because of their office. Do you understand how much federal money comes to veterans in this county? Federally? Well, I guess
2.5, right?
24 million. So,
They gonna keep coming?
yeah, it's gonna keep coming and you're gonna have more veterans. So that's
Setting.
Well, veteran counts are going.
people that come to services will be.
Yeah, I don't know.
What's? That includes
Think our
all
veteran
their,
counts are
that
growing.
includes all their benefits.
Based on the fact
But a
that
lot of them are. It's not much different than our elderly culture. You gotta remember, they're very proud people, the elderly people, and they wouldn't even take things that we give them. We still have elderly that will not take help that need it. Veterans are the same way. And we're finally able to punch through that line to get them to realize that, no, you're not alone, you need help. And the toughest ones to get to has been Vietnam veterans because of the way they were treated when they came home. And they're finally getting through being able to talk to them after you have people back from Desert Storm and things like that, they can kind of understand. So it is very much increasing, and that's why we bought the vans, that's why we did all that. So it was a lot bigger number than I expected, and I didn't think, I was like you, how can the veterans increase? The reason that they're seeing increased number is they're finally realizing that we actually appreciate our veterans. They only remember what it was like when they came home and were disregarded. So that's what's really changed.
Sam, I know that, some of the conference, a lot of the conference, they always have conversations with veterans. They make a point to go to the veterans sessions. And we are very lucky with the veterans we have put together, because compared to some other counties, they invest virtually almost no resources to veterans. That may be why we're getting a lot of traffic here, because the veterans can't get support where they need it. And there's a lot of veterans you talk to that I know personally who say, well, I need this, I wish I could find some. I said, did you ever go and talk to the veterans? No. And several have come back to me and said, listen, thank you very much for telling me to go look at it, because there's help. And I know that if we go back to Sam, I've seen when Sam was veterans, I'd see him on Saturdays getting groceries to go to people's houses because they couldn't afford things or whatever, needed help, so. I'm also veteran, I thank you and for the support they give them, but I think that we should revisit these when we get back to closer to our budget. I'd rather not be saying no to these. I'd be saying, I'd like to see what happens when we get a budget. After all the departments have done what they need to do, we got back to Brian, we've got a budget to work with. A tenant budget to work with. Right now, we got one that's in flux. So I would like to revisit some of these when we have that budget in hand. Makes sense?
Makes sense. I would just like to comment on what Dana said. It's growing because the VA has come out with additional service-connected disabilities that an individual may have already had or not had, and it might have been denied once. And so now it took that whole caseload and moves those forward up into a time frame because now they're eligible. And when a veteran comes in and gets their claim adjudicated, it doesn't mean it stops and that guy goes out and never comes back again. Because as the condition worsens, they come in for another reevaluation and that process starts over again to give them additional monies if they're entitled to it. The other thing that and I can't give you dollar amounts off my head because I don't know what they were, I could go find them. But back when I was director, I went through to see, okay, where was the break-off line? Veterans got benefits, but now they could get into social services. Okay, get them off those rolls, and that was a savings for us on the other end. We got federal dollars coming in, one to help us, and the other way to take care of. And it's a moving number. And actually, things have changed greatly since I was director. And automation, and I fully believe in it because it's done a great job of giving rapid response to the veterans' claims in a more timely manner, and gives our veterans a system they can go into, but our directors can get into the VA system. Also take a look at what they actually have within their case, claim it, follow it. It takes them longer to process that because they can actually do less veterans in a day with what they have. Because of the process of going through and have to screen every part of the automated thing that's there. That's changed significantly, the number of veterans that can actually service one day based on. It helps on the other end for the filing and the aspect, but the number you can put through the system at one time. And we are one of the few counties that actually has a receptionist, for lack of a better word. You can do some rescheduling to fill out an application, which makes a big process, and eventually comes in and they can get working on a much basis. So, yeah, I agree that we need to sit back and Dave, take a look at it at my point, but there is a need here for it. Because every day they miss filing, the veteran misses filing, that's money out of their pocket. It goes by the date that the claim's filed. And it could be 6 months or 7 months or a year before it's finally adjudicated, but it goes back to that date that the claim's filed.
Or even worse, not getting medical support in a timely manner that could cause greater issues.
You know,
I asked you this, I don't speak ago, I was talking about the veteran counts, how the employee count was at 19 from 5 to 9.
yes,
Is that mostly drivers? What was that?
yeah, that was drivers.
It's all drivers.
And their feet go,
So are,
and most of them were part-time.
that's,
Yeah,
that's cool.
They get the pool.
Yeah, but they're paid drivers,
Right. Yes.
because they're on the payroll for
Yes.
the allocated.
Yes.
So I guess my question is, have you heard of experiences where as a result of having a part-time clerk, people have missed filing deadlines and feel that that's the reason? Or
It's a combination, to be honest with you. Some of it's on the veteran's part. Sometimes the veterans give notification and they come at the last minute because they got misplaced or they have PTSD and they just don't want to deal with it at that point in time. And finally, a spouse or someone says, no, you've got to go and get this. And the purpose of the additional drivers is, and I think I've talked numerous times about the
yeah, I
fact,
went to like more of a primary care approach. as opposed to
Exactly.
the VA.
so what they're looking,
Perfect sense.
all they're looking to do is get a greater pool. So if I'm a driver and I call in sick that day, I've got someone I can reach out to get them to their appointments. Because if they miss that appointment, it could be another 30, 40, 50 days before they get into their specialist that got to see.
But we didn't say no to the driver.
Right.
No,
We're debating moving the clerk.
That's correct.
part-time to full-time.
so I think that's correct.
In those other departments that you have in other areas or the agencies, I guess, departments you reference in other areas of the state,
Yes,
Do they usually have full-time or are they part-time? Where are they going?
some don't provide the services.
They don't?
They don't. As David indicated. And I was amazed when I was for 3 years, I was president of the New York State Association of County Veteran Service Officers. There was only 2 counties I didn't get to visit the whole time. It was amazing to me when we start talking, myself and other directors, as the president behind doors. I say, you know, you can refer to the Office of the Aging, for example, you can refer to Department of Social Services. There's benefits there for them. Well, we can't do that. What do you mean? Well, we aren't allowed to talk to them. There was actually department, state, you know, county facilities that won't let their people talk to each other, the directors. I don't know how they function, and they obviously did in many years. But we are unique, Terrell said, we are unique in that area of getting the veterans shoe and getting their claims done and processed. Back in the days that I was there, I had myself and another director. And then we had a receptionist. That's all she do was do some filing or whatever the case may be, just 2 of us. The vibe has grown tremendously over that point in time. Mainly because of legislation now makes veterans eligible for claims that they had been denied, but they now have been recognized by the VA as, yes, this was serviced by Service Connection from your military service, and they can reapply for those. So
I think the other thing is the way we're set up now is totally different, like from Sam to Andy, the 2 that are there now. They actually hit the road a lot. They actually go find veterans, do things with veterans. So the clerk position's important because instead of locking the door because you're gone for the day, there's somebody there to see, because some people, when they come in, the door's locked, they're never coming back. It took a lot for them to get there to begin with. So that's where this probably makes the most difference, is the fact that the full-time person, and I believe they're all certified.
yeah,
Because they're all certified, they can do anything that any of the other ones can do. So they can set appointments, they can get them through forms and stuff. They may still have to meet with Ken or Mike, hope I got the names right. And that, so, but this, like Daryl said, it just moves it along that much faster. And this is all federal money that they're gonna get. We're only paying for the actual office to make it happen. That's the way I understand this.
so
Sam, Ken's done a phenomenal job down there, and also Jeremy Duels with the,
Peer.
so my ask is that, are we, because of that strong connection and that, ability to do and serve, are we getting Warren County, people coming here, and could they help pay for the other half of this?
they being
Warren
Warren
County.
County, I doubt very much that they're gonna pay.
Yeah, I know there's Essex County's people coming all the way down here to see our team.
So I'm just wondering, I mean, we have had shared services with county through youth and, you know, would this be an area that we could have, some funds and a shared service with Warren County?
My guess would be no, but that doesn't mean it can't be explored.
Yeah.
Because there's been some issues over the years with Warren County, the agencies, the directors, let's put it that way. Frank about it, so, yes, sir.
I was thinking along Susan's lines too, like if we show the other counties and again, as Dan would say, I may be sounding harsh, but let's take care of the Washington County veterans first. Every veteran needs taken care of, but I mean, I think that's part of what's going on our budget and some of our other departments is that we're taking care of the world and we need to take care of Washington County first, and the rest of the world could go like wherever they came from. I'm sorry, that is harsh, but.
Good point. That's a good point.
And then we have to delineate when they're a split family and the veteran lives in Warren County, for example, and the mom and the children are entitled to the benefits as well, live in Washington County. How do we separate that? Not that it can't be done, Jay, I'm just.
No, I'm just saying if
Yep, I
we're
understand.
trying to get the most move through,
I understand.
let's move, we can help them. Let's get ours taken care of, and then we'll help them. That's just, you know, we can't save the world. We can't afford to.
No, I agree with you. I agree with you. Won't be done. All right, so where do we stand on the I don't even remember now. Did we get a motion?
No.
Not a motion?
No.
Okay, no motion. 1, 2, 3 is done. Is that was okay?
And, but we're gonna revisit it.
We're gonna revisit it.
Well, to that point, if we get somewhere comfortable and the budget's all, yeah.
Okay. All right. Does that take care of all we have there? Okay.
Oh, wait,
No.
bottom thing now is we saved money, because we didn't otherwise say. Well,
So that is money to this.
yeah,
At this point in time, because we're holding Larry up.
yeah,
Fred, you.
Yeah, we need a motion to go into executive session.
Can I make a comment?
Wait, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I just want to comment on the procedure we've just followed. About 2 months ago, I suggested to each of these committees, and then at a monthly meeting to the total board of supervisors, that we asked the department heads to commit with a 5% reduction in their budget from 25 to 26. We didn't move on that. And today, we, in essence, have just gone through the last hour and a half what I was asking the department heads to do. And we're doing it here at our level, trying to decide, should we let them do this? Should we let them do that? So to me, it would have been better done at the department head level. And I'm not saying I told you so or anything like that, but this is an inefficient way of doing it because we don't have all the facts. If they had been asked to do that, I think they could have made the harder decisions and come back here with better reasoning than we're able to develop as we're doing it here.
We actually had that
And we're just-
discussion
we're
earlier
just
in
on-
the week.
Just,
Yeah,
doing one small piece here.
so
Think
these,
of how this is gonna be as we go through this whole
you're
thing.
exactly right, and that's what we did on Monday with the department head meeting. And they're starting to get back to me now, but these were the ones that were already in the pipeline that they filtered down. Some of them, that's why a lot of these got pulled. They pulled a
Okay.
lot of them themselves. So we did exactly what you were suggesting. We can't do a flat percentage because some of them don't have 5% to give.
I understand.
Some of them might have 20% to give, but there's nothing fair in this. We're beyond fairness at a 40% tax increase.
And I apologize, wasn't here the last 2
That's okay.
No, that's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, just, you've got motion on the floor, but my question is there gonna be further discussion after executive session on the budget? Because people that are gonna have to go out the door should they hang around, or when we're done, this.
We'll have a bunch of discussion,
This
yeah.
part of yours.
Yeah, cause no,
Party's not over.
the party's not over.
Okay.
But the clock.
It's not over till Dan sings.
Clock ticking for Larry here, only sitting. there.
Oh, no, I just didn't know, to let everybody else know.
All right, so,
might have pizza, we don't know.
so for the personnel section, do we have a vote to go to executive session?
I'll make the motion.
Do we have a second? It's Sue and Jay and Davis for what reason?
To discuss, negotiations pursuant to the Taylor Order.
And then we'll resume with what we got going here, right after we have the executive session.
All in favor need to say aye on his motion.
Aye.
And that finance, same thing, moved by Dana, second by Dave. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, here you go.